Hey everyone, welcome back to another review video, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Elite Sterzo Smart. This was sent to me by Elite, but they are not paying me to do this review, so this is all my personal opinions on what I personally think about this device, and whether I think it's worth it or not is going to be discussed later on in this video, along with setup, how it's used, and all that fun stuff. Let's dive into the video. So firstly, a brief overview of this device. It was released in around 2020, and it was the first time the steering was ever available in Zwift, and a lot of people purchased this device, and some of them honestly were disappointed with the limited things that Zwift ended up doing with steering, but I'm going to give my review for a 2023 perspective, so whether it's going to be worth it in 2023 or not. And moving on, it has a claimed battery life of around 500 hours depending on your use, and then it's going to have a tilt of up to 34 degrees, so you can turn your wheel side to side up to 34 degrees. And it is compatible through ANT+ or Bluetooth with Zwift, and I think it's compatible with one or two other indoor cycling apps. I know it's not compatible with RGT because I did try that, but it's going to be mostly used with Zwift for the people who are looking to purchase this device. Just a quick note, if you're enjoying this video, please hit that like, subscribe button. It really helps support the channel, and with that, let's continue on with the video. Alright, next we're going to talk about setup. The setup of this was honestly really easy. All I had to do was take it out of the box and just figure out which was the correct direction to have it so that I was not steering backwards. And once I had that done, all I had to do was put it under my wheel and then pair it to Zwift. It already has the batteries installed upon purchase and delivery, so it's actually insanely simple to get this thing set up. And you're literally ready to go, I'd say within 3 minutes, and one of those minutes is going to be spent opening the box. So that's it for setup, and on to the next topic. So you might be wondering, how exactly does this work? And this basically just goes under your wheel, and as you turn the handlebars, it will allow you to change lanes on Zwift. I believe there's 6 lanes within a lane, so you can kind of go in between those, and you can just swerve around. I wouldn't say it's technically steering, but it's more of swerving. And if you make an abrupt turn when there is an intersection question asking coming up, like whether you want to go right or left. If you make a sharp turn left, it will direct you directly to the left, so you don't have to actually tap the screen. And that's kind of just a nice feature to have for the people who aren't always on Zwift Companion or don't feel like reaching over to press a button. Currently, Zwift does not have that much support for steering devices, so the best place to use this is going to be the mountain bike trail, and that's going to allow you to kind of just steer around and get different stars. So that's pretty cool, and I've enjoyed riding on the mountain bike trail with this device. And then next is that just during free rides you can swerve around, and there used to be steering specific events, but Zwift did remove those because of lack of participation. And then in terms of just regular events, you're not going to find that many events that do allow steering. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about whether I was impressed or disappointed with this device. And this, as I said earlier, this is my first time using a steering device, so I had pretty good hopes for this device, and I thought that it would be pretty cool to have a steering device with Zwift. So after testing this for a good 10-15 rides, I think that this device, it really depends on what you are using it for. If you are a serious racer who is really serious about indoor cycling, I don't know if this is the best option, because the amount of events with steering enabled is super slim, and you could hardly find any events that allow you to steer. And even when you can steer, you can't steer into people. So when you're in a big pack or the peloton, you won't be able to move around in the peloton because you are not technically supposed to just ram into other people. And Zwift has this prevented by having certain things limited, so you have to have a clear lane to switch to when you are steering with Zwift. So honestly, I say that this was kind of what I expected, because I've read the different reviews, I've read different articles, read different forums threads about this device, so I know everything about this device before I purchased it, or before Elite sent it to me. So I knew exactly what I was getting into and what to expect with this device. So for most people, I say that it's going to be a good deal if you can get it for a relatively reasonable price. So I'd say around the $75 to $80 range, and that can be seen pretty often because of sales. But other than that, because the typical steering block is around 30 or 40 bucks, so it's like extra 30 bucks and you get steering with it. So that's kind of a nice bonus. And I'd say that for the people who are looking for the most realistic ride, this is definitely a great way to increase the realism of the ride, because you can steer on the mountain bike trail and you can just steer when you're free riding. That kind of just makes it more interesting for you to use when you are riding on Zwift. So would I recommend this device? As I said earlier, it kind of depends on your use case. So that's going to be the final verdict of this. I said that it was a solid 8 out of 10, and the only 2 points were just being that Zwift does not have a ton of features built out for steering, and I'm not quite sure if they have that in the future roadmap, but I am excited to see where this goes. And honestly, this was a pretty nice device, and I found it pretty fun to use. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like, subscribe button, and stay tuned for a few more reviews coming out soon. And with that, ride on.